What's your most irrational fear? Being framed for murder or any other major crime. I've always had a fear of ending up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Maybe I watch too much TV. Whenever a cop drives by me, in my head I'm going, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. Apostrophe. The below water portions of large vessels. If there is a ship or a dock or something that sits in the water, the thought of rubbing against the part that's underwater makes me nearly pass out. I'm so terrified of this. My dad forced me to swim under his boat and scrape something off the bottom. I don't think my heart rate had ever been higher. That if I put the ceiling fan on high, it will fall and kill me and I'll die. I'm goddamn terrified of the ocean. Large bodies of water in general actually. Just seeing a picture of the ocean will send shivers up my spine. Then there's the fish inside of the ocean. I know those bastards are out there, waiting, plotting. Pedophiles. I'm 32. I'm a young 32 though. The power went off last night, and it surprised me how dark my house was. Then I heard my outside screen door bang. I can honestly say for a minute I was paralyzed with fear. Then I grew some balls and turned on the flashlight on my phone and went and secured the door. Why did I need a flashlight? I walk through my house all the time in the dark. Then I hurried to my room and launched myself onto my bed to avoid the ankle grabbers and sat there until the lights came back on. Then got up and turned off all the lights and went to bed. Seriously. WTF was the difference? Moths. I duck and hate moths. Butterflies? Fine. But not moths. Never moths. They're irrational and it doesn't matter where I sit, they always fly into my goddamn face and, in my head, the moth will somehow fly up my nose and end up stuck inside my brain. Also I realize I'm referring to the subject of my irrational fear as irrational. I'm cool with it. Me too. Oh thank God I'm not alone. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I hate any bug that flies/scurries towards me or behaves erratically. Related, I was mowing my lawn when a moth flew up to escape the mower and somehow managed to fly straight into my nostril. I ended up sitting on a mower, screaming like I was being murdered, with a moth up my nose. Took way too long to get it out. I'm still a little nervous whenever I mow. That someone will cut my Achilles tendon and I will never be able to walk again. I have no idea where this came from, but I try to sit cross-legged as much as possible so that my ankles aren't exposed. I usually check the backseat of my car before I get in, because I worry that some sort of Bundy-esque villain is hiding there. Frogs/toads. I got a zoo book about them when I was younger and totally froze up at the mailbox. When I was little I was scared of going to the bathroom because I saw a TV documentary with a cardboard cutout of Elvis flushing a toilet. So what I'm trying to say is that I was afraid of Elvis coming out of the toilet. I hate looking in mirrors for a prolonged amount of time due to the fear of my reflection not matching. Also, mirrors at night are just freaky. I hate mirrors and reflections at night. Not a fear of my reflection not matching, but seeing shit in the room that's not there. I used to have a tube TV in my bedroom as a kid and swore I could see shadows move in the reflection sometimes. Every time I lift a toilet seat I worry that the severed head of a cow orca will be in there. Always the same cow orca too. Sharp objects are out to get my eyes. Biscuit cans that you have to whack on the counter. I always make my fiance open these when we have them. I just get too anxious when I start pulling the label back. I know that it's filled with squishy dough and not shrapnel, but it still feels like I'm trying to open a bomb. Balloons. I can't be anywhere near them. Don't run for president. If you win the nomination, you get like 1,000 balloons dropped on you during the convention. At times I'm afraid of being on Earth in a similar way to how people feel on an airplane or something. It just seems so fragile to me in the grand scheme of things. Me too. Or sometimes I start tripping out when I realize that the Earth is constantly spinning in space. We are always moving. It gives me a feeling of panic and lack of control. Bridges. I'm petrified of bridges. I've never had a bad experience on one or anything. I was never on a bridge that collapsed, and a bridge didn't kill my dog when I was younger or anything. But every time I'm on one I have this fear that either it will collapse or that I'll lose control in that moment and drive off it. I'm afraid that if I bend my elbow too much the bone will pierce through my skin. It's so bad I can't even bear looking at other people's bent elbows. I have a somewhat similar one. I have to close the toilet lid before getting in the shower because I'm afraid I will slip and put my arm out to catch myself. My hand will go into the hole of the toilet and my fingers will break backwards. No joke, invisible cars. For a split second every time I cross a road I'm petrified of being hit by an invisible car. Edit. Wow. I feel so much better knowing other people have the same fear. Everyone I know has always called me insane. I broke the big toe on my right foot and haven't been able to bend it in any direction since. My fear is having a blade on an inevitable path with my toes. And while all my other toes are able to bend and get out of the way my little piggy actually ends up going to the market. Talking on the phone with strangers. Da fuck is wrong with me? For me it's talking on the phone at all. I have to build up the nerve to make a call. It's terrible. I even have to memorize what I'm going to say before I make the call. I also walk around the whole house and once ran smack into the wall because I was caught off guard by a question someone asked me. If I close my eyes in shower for too long, someone will come in and attack me, especially if my back is to the door. I'm not sure how irrational it is, but I'm terrified of drive-by shootings. Whenever I'm walking and a car slows down for no apparent reason I freak out internally. Earwigs. Ever since I was a kid I've been scared that one will crawl in my ear and lay its eggs in my brain. Doesn't help that they've really been popping up the past few summers. I noticed a dead earwig in the bathroom at my office about a week ago. I didn't want to be the one to move it, and apparently no one else did because it stayed right there on the ground. 2 days after the first one showed up, there was another dead earwig. I have my 10 AM and 3 PM juices, and each time I noticed them laying in the exact same places. But when I went to cheer on the Browns going to the Super Bowl today, the second earwig wasn't there anymore and now I'm convinced that the first one is alive too, and they are going to crawl into my butt when I poop, and I fucking hate earwigs, man. Feet. My brother would hold me down and rub his dirty feet all over me. Now I don't even want people to touch my own. I fear that one day I will put toothpaste on my razor and start brushing my teeth in a sleepy daze. Getting shit on by birds. Whenever a pigeon flies overhead, I have a mini freak out and awkwardly contort myself to get out from under its flight path. It's not attractive. Edit. A pigeon just flew 2 feet over my head while I was getting lunch. I actually shrieked a bit. That there is still poop on my butt. Harriet Tubman. Ever since I learned she hid in people's houses on the Underground Railroad when I was in 2nd grade, I've been terrified that she's in my attic. I open shower curtains. A closed shower curtain is overly suspicious to me, and I always feel someone could be behind it. Power lines. You know, the huge tall structures that stand in the middle of a random field. I don't know. Every time I pass one on the road, I feel my chest tighten up. Like, what if I wake up one day and I'm laying in the middle of a large field with nothing but huge, buzzing power lines? Question mark? It creeps me out. Death. I know most people don't want to die, but I'm really aware and concerned about it. I worry about what it's going to be like. I think what bugs me most is not being able to see what happens after I'm gone. What am I going to miss out on? I also don't like the idea of just not existing anymore. I know I can't avoid it, and it's going to happen. But I'm not keen on the whole thing. I'm 31, so not sure what I'm going to be like when I get older. I hope I get over it. My best friend from childhood became seriously obsessed with what death was like after his grandfather and then father died. When he was 20 he got drunk at a party, went upstairs and hung himself. To this day, I'm convinced it was the overpowering anxiety of not knowing that caused his suicide. My husband suffers from anxiety and this is his major trigger. As a kid he had an operation and was dead on the table for almost 4 minutes. His experience during that period, or rather his lack of experience, has scared him shitless ever since. He was raised in a very religious household and the realization that he didn't experience anything has caused him massive problems since then. It's sad really. That gravity will just stop existing one day and I'll float up into space and die. Sharks in unlit backyard pools at night. Not mine, but I have a cousin who is afraid of brown cinnamon Pop-Tarts. She starts crying if you put them in her face and I have no idea why. Also she was a cashier at a grocery store, so whenever someone wanted to buy them, she'd make them scan the box themselves. If I dangle my feet over my bed at night, something is going to reach out from underneath and grab them. I'm 30. Edit. I should also mention I keep my shotgun under there so if something does grab me it's also armed. I have this fear when I'm swimming in a lake where I can't see the bottom. I'm convinced that every piece of seaweed that touches my feet is the hand of a dead body. Those large wind turbines. No idea why, but those things freak me out. I can't even look at them. Said this before, but stickers. Hate them and their stickiness. Their black adhesive backside when it's been on something for a while filled with dirt. Even worse is band-aids because well, they're ducking disgusting. People, believe me, social anxiety is not fun. Social anxiety is so ingrained in me that I didn't even think to consider it an irrational fear. Mother ducking cows man. They're black, Sula size, and they're absolutely empty brains. It's near immobilizing. The worst part is, it's like my body gives off a pheromone that says hey, come stand in a perfect circle around me and creep me the duck out. But yeah, because they're so dumb, they're unpredictable. They could just charge me for no reason. And since they weigh like 800 pounds, I'm screwed. They do surround me all the time. And it's scary when they do, as it makes me think they are planning something together. Also, I'm a little afraid that they know I eat beef a lot, and so they might want revenge for their fallen brothers. Mine is Reba. I'm always afraid that if I'm around it, somehow I will manage to get impaled by it. Clusters of shapes. Looking at a sponge for too long makes me feel nauseous. This is completely irrational, but sometimes I can't help thinking I'm stuck in a fake reality like the Truman Show, and my life is just one big hilarious joke that everyone is in on except me. For a short time I used to have a fear that someone, somewhere was reading my mind. I knew it wasn't possible, but it bothered me for about a month. Taco Bell hot sauce packets. Once in the eye is all it takes. You think the eye is bad. I had some extremely hot sauce with my dinner last week and afterwards proceeded to have a relaxing post-dinner wank. Worst fucking idea ever. My dick burned for over an hour because I didn't realize I had some sauce on my hands. So kids, wash before you wank. I have a serious phobia about being possessed. This is an internet era specific irrational fear, but I'm unable to click on any link that promises to show me a video of people being hurt, hurting other people, or acting like douchebags to other people. In fact, just the idea of accidentally watching a video like this makes me almost nauseated. Consequently, I've missed out on a lot of have you seen that video of that girl getting uppercutted by that bus driver? It was crazy. Types of moments. It's just something about witnessing actual human suffering, no matter how flippant or ridiculous or deserved it might be, that makes my skin crawl. Cockroaches. Flying cockroaches. First time living in the suburbs/wooded area. Mom and I get ready to kill what we think is really just a large ass cockroach. We killed them all the time in the city. I go to knock it off the wall with a broom and my mom stands ready with a shoe. Surprise. Motherfuckers. It's a wood roach and it flies directly at you while you scream like someone who's being murdered and run out of the house with your mom, who is also screaming, and the neighbors run out asking if they need to call 911. My neighbors think we are weird now, and I don't really blame them. Moose. I can't imagine a worse death than hitting a moose with my car and having it fall through my windshield, decapitate me, and then have it lay on me while honking and slobbering. No thanks, Maine. Plane crashes. Every time I get on one. You should stop getting on plane crashes. I had an allergic reaction to denim when I was younger, and as a result I'm terrified of coming into contact with jeans. Okay, I have a fear of using a tip and someone slamming the door open and it hitting my elbow, jamming the tip into my brain. A few people have said it here, but zombies. I realize I'm stupid for fearing it, or am I? Question mark, closed bracket comma, and have gone to lengths to defend against it. Got a gun license and a gun. Have 6 months of food and water for my wife and kids stored. Have panels to board up my windows. I have a fortify and defense strategy as opposed to a flee and get stuck in traffic strategy. Working on a safe room in the basement. First time I've written that down. I need help. FML. Please click subscribe if you enjoyed this video.